He's 21 years old. He's the son of Robin and Chris Lapeyrouse. His home parish was St. Francis growing up. He went to St. Francis de Sales School. He also graduated from Vanderbilt Catholic in 2015. Then he went off to the University of Alabama in the fall of 2015. Why would he go to Alabama? I don't know. But I'm sure a lot of people wasn't happy about that, but probably his dad also. Okay. Then he went to Nichols in the spring of 16. Then he entered the seminary in the fall of 16. He'll be a senior this upcoming year. So he has 5 years left before he becomes a priest, God willing, as he said in his email. Another little side note, Joseph is the same age as my daughter. Him and my daughter actually went to United Methodist Learning Center when they were just little bitty kids. And I reminded him that the other day, but he didn't remember. But so yeah, I've been seeing him around for a long time. Used to work with his grandpa years ago. So now we're going to have Joseph come tell us a little bit about the seminary life. Come on up, Joseph.
Yes. Great.
Everybody stand up, extend your hand. Lord Jesus, give Joseph the wisdom, the words he needs to speak, calm his fears. Help us to hear the words that Joseph speaks for you. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Deacon Timmy. So, as Mr. Tim said, I've been a few different places before I entered seminary. Some of you might know my parents. Even Father Joey had worked for my grandpa years ago, so I'm not far from home here. And really, my encounter with God that led me to the seminary, and really, the ball started getting rolling when I was at Vanderbilt. About my sophomore year, about 16 years old, I was searching for something in life, and I was looking, what will make me happy, right? Being a teenager, there seems to be a lot of directions people are pointing you in. But one thing that really grabbed my eye was that there were certain individuals at Vanderbilt. Some were teachers, others were other students, some in my class, some a little older, and also a few priests. Friar Antonio, I always remember seeing his joy and his example, and seeing that peace with that joy. And that was something that I saw those individuals having, that it just struck me. And at first when I was at Vanderbilt, I wasn't very involved, but when I started noticing these individuals, I was seeing what they were doing in life, just in their day-to-day, in the way that they went out of their way for others. And it just grabbed my attention, and I desired that peace that they had. And so that got me to it just encouraged me. I didn't tell anyone any of this, just minding my own business, with my feelings and everything. But I was I want to have that. And so it got me to just get more involved, just plug in more. But at that point, I wasn't praying, just going to mass on Sundays, and that was it. I didn't have a prayer life. I didn't really know Jesus, in all honesty. I wasn't, frequenting the sacraments or anything like that. So advanced a year, junior year, trying to do more, a lot more involved, starting to become, more of a leader, knowing more people at school and at church and different places. But then, I remember I was in confirmation class, my second year of confirmation, and it ends right before the evening mass at St. Francis on Sunday. And just like here, they have confession before every mass over there. And Father Josh's confessional was open. And I only had gone to confession in the past, just when I was at Vanderbilt, and they had an all-school retreat or something, and I didn't really think anything of it. But for some reason, something made me want to go. And just coming out, I was okay, that just happened. But then, like just gradually, like just being around the people I was around and the role models I was around, it got me to pray more. It got me to like start going to the sacraments. But like I still wasn't like, seeing all these people, like they're like so engaged with Christ and like they had this relationship that like I still knew like I didn't have. And I was also getting older, so I was like, when am I going to have, like, being in high school, I was like, am I going to have the big Jesus moment that a lot of people seem to have? And just the summer before my senior year, there was one occasion where I just asked someone to pray with me. And I remember very clearly the Lord just saying, like, trust me. And like it was like one of the first times I can like distinctly hearing like God's voice, like encountering Him like in a new way. It was just Him saying, trust me. It wasn't saying go to seminary or any of that yet. And from there, like I knew my life had to change. Like I knew I had to like invest myself more. I had to like go even further. But with that, like the world was still kind of tugging at me a little bit. And like thinking about like where am I going to go? Like what am I going to go to school for? What do I want to like have a career in? And that was something that honestly like scared me a lot. Like my parents were supportive with anything that I did and all the things I was considering, and like I just didn't know where I wanted to go to school. And part of me like wanted to like I felt like going away from home and having that fresh start, like that's like I'll go out and like into the world and like I'll just the world will give me what it needs me. And like I ended up not really cooperating with like the grace that God had given me to trust Him. I was like going between like praying and like saying, yes, Lord, I trust in you, but in reality I was still like really seeking the things of the world. And I was like applying to different universities. I was like looking to engineering because I was like, okay, like I have an uncle that's an engineer and like he seems real happy. And like that seems like real secure, like that's got to be like the way to go. And so like I applied to different universities, some in-state, some out-of-state. And I remember coming home, it was homecoming night, there was an envelope on the kitchen counter, and I just opened it. It was like, free ride scholarship to Alabama, which is part of the reason why I went there. And like when I had that, like I never really thought about going there until that moment. And it was just like, this is like an opportunity for me to like the world is offering me like what I want. Like this is it. Like this is exactly what I want. But then soon after that, like just like studying for a class and doing the things that I do at Vanderbilt. I remember one day at night at home, I just remember hearing like, none of that's going to help you if you're going to the seminary. I just remember like hearing that in like my mind, and I just don't know where it came from. Like it's just the Holy Spirit is what I truly believe. And then from there, it was just like this thought in me that I just didn't know what to do with. And like I met with Father Andre, our vocation director, Father Andre Melançon, and I spoke with him, and he was very supportive. But I was really just confused and really honestly just scared. But then I decided to go to school. I was like, no, I gotta go off and try this. I was still going back and forth. I wasn't truly trusting in God and committing myself to Him. And then I remember going to orientation at Alabama. It was like the week after graduation. Like I had just graduated from Vanderbilt. And I was talking with someone, we were talking about high school, I mentioned I go to a Catholic school. And this person wasn't Catholic. Real nice guy, but he asked me, what is the Eucharist? Someone had no knowledge of the Eucharist at all. Like, it's just like what is that? And it was just like, at first I was like, I don't know if I can do this. But then I just talked to him and I did the best I could. And I just remember walking away from that conversation thinking, like, this has to be a sign from God that, like, I'm not in the right place. And, like, but I was still on the fence. And then I went to a come and see retreat and I got to know some of the seminarians and it was like the same thing. Like, this has to be it. But then I was still so scared to take that initiative. So it took me going away from home and, just having one night where I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And actually, I went to high school with Matthew Prosper, some of you may know him. And one night I just called him and I was just like, I don't know what to do. Can you help me? He was in the seminary at the time. He entered seminary before me. And the next day I called my sister and I was like, this is what I need to do. And then the next day I called my parents. And then from there, that's what led to me coming back home, going to Nichols. And then now I'm in the seminary. I'm just finished my second year in the seminary and loving it. Don't regret any decisions I made. I thank God worked in the way He did and had to kind of let me go away from home so that I could learn to trust in Him. And that encounter away from home, like learning that I have to cooperate with that. And just also too, like the connection to Matthew, but also with the other seminarians that I've met since I've entered seminary, has continually reminded me that I need to trust in Him and cooperate with where He's placing me and what is being asked of me at that moment in order for me to love others and to live that life of peace that years ago that I saw and wanted so bad. And just coming into the seminary, being welcomed by all the other seminarians, as a true brother. At the time, Father Cody was a deacon, and he was one of them. And I remember, a lot of you know Deacon Brett Lapeyrouse, everyone, and also Caleb Anderson, who's here, helped me so much coming through that. I saw God in them, and it was just so much confirmation that it led me to just be so much at peace, and just that grace to just see Christ in others through that way. And so I just thank y'all, for listening to my story, and then Caleb's also going to share his witness with y'all. So I just thank y'all for giving me an opportunity.